So never mind that we've been screaming to the top of our lungs about eggs for the past, few months now? Now all of a sudden they want to investigate? Man, get out of here, bro. This has become comical at this point. But we're going to get to everything, man, because there's some craziness going on still. All right, so listen, you know how this goes. Question everything. You should. And remember, this is for entertainment purposes only. Let's get to it.
Now to the soaring cost of eggs. As a source tells us, the Department of Justice is investigating possible price fixing. ABC's Alexis Christoforous joins us with this. Good morning, Alexis. And you told me this isn't the first time for some of these companies.
That's right, Janae. Good morning. So the U.S. Justice Department is in the early stages of investigating the country's largest egg producers for what some are alleging is a, quote, coordinated effort to restrict supply and inflate prices. Now, we know consumers are paying record prices for eggs, some as high as $10 a dozen, as that devastating bird flu outbreak forces the industry to kill tens of millions of egg-laying hens. But while consumers and businesses are shelling out more for eggs, some egg companies are raking in record profits. Cal-Maine, that's the nation's largest egg producer, saw profits more than triple last quarter, up more than 340% compared to just a year ago. Now, back in 2023, a jury trial ordered Cal-Maine and 3 other companies to pay $53 million for unlawfully inflating prices. It's a verdict those companies are challenging, and Cal-Maine has not yet responded to our request for comment. Now, as for when we might see prices start to come down, experts say with an egg-centric holiday like Easter right around the corner, don't expect relief anytime soon. The USDA predicts prices could rise another 40% this year, and even if supply rebounds, experts say prices could stay high as grocers and restaurants try to make back some of their lost profits. Guys?
All right, Alexis, a lot to follow there. We appreciate it.
Now to the soaring cost.
Yeah, nah, Easter. We sitting this one out, Easter, bro. The little Easter bunny need to go on somewhere. Go on somewhere, little buddy. Nah, we not buying them expensive baskets and eggs and painting eggs and let me ask y'all this. Do y'all still hide real eggs, or do y'all do the little fake ones where you put little things inside of them? Because I know some people who did both. Some people hid and colored like real eggs, and either way, the real eggs is cut out. You need to go to the plastic one where you could put little gifts inside of it for the kids to make it extra fun. Other than that, no real eggs for Easter. Sorry.
This fire at its largest, which is now still burning, is 2 miles long and 2.5 miles wide. So far, we've had 1 injury, a second degree. We have a number of minor injuries, but an injury that required transportation to Stony Brook Hospital, to their burn center, a second degree burn on the face of one of our firefighters. I hope that's the extent of it. We've had 2 structures that has burned, and we are now taking a very careful look at the airbase to see if that needs to be evacuated.
Looks like they're at least putting water on something. When we was looking at some of them other fires, they was just dark all around. You ain't see no whiteness. See the little hints of whiteness, and it looked like somebody putting a decent amount of water on something. But this is crazy. But don't listen to me. Hear it from the people. Talk about it.
The wildfires are on the move again. Their newest victim is Long Island, New York. This, as I suspect many other wildfires that have gone on in the country, are testing grounds for smart cities. Check this out, right? We are accepting proposals from technology companies around the world who are interested in supporting one of our municipal testbed projects by piloting the solutions in New York State. However, to be eligible for funding, interested technology companies must have a presence in New York or Israel. And you can find this on the New York Gov website. One or the other, nothing in between. I mean, who else could better from our money other than our best ally? They're claiming for it to be for some monitoring of nitrogen pollution, but they've only had 2 nitrogen pollution scares, one in 2015 and one in summer of 2024. But it gets even worse. Check this, right? This guy, Kevin Reynolds, this schmuck is a known associate of Bill Clinton, and he was doing infant massages on Long Island. Now tell me why in that a grown man feels like he needs to be massaging infants. I don't know, man. It's an evil world, and I feel like this was the perfect storm for them to use the fires as a cover-up for them to make ways as well for the smart cities, courtesy of them boys over east. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. Follow me for more. The wildfires are on.
It gets scary when you hear some of the stuff that people are into, man. Like, no new friends for me, man. I don't want to be associated with somebody and then all of a sudden some story comes out and you didn't even know, but now you're associated with this dude because you've been seen hanging around him. Y'all took pictures together, and all the while he been out here doing some wild things. Like, the stuff people are into, scary. No more small planes should be allowed to take off at this time until they figure out what is going on. They shouldn't even be allowed to take off. It should be so many stipulations that they have to, or hurdles they have to jump over before they're allowed to even take off at this point. Like, what is the count now for these small single engine planes that have just been falling out the sky?
We was through with all these planes crashing. I just thought it was over because for the last couple weeks we ain't been hearing nothing else about it. Boy, was I wrong. Come on, sip a little tea with Auntie, baby. Let's talk about it. So, y'all, there was a plane crash that occurred in Pennsylvania this time. 5 people aboard. Lucky enough, nobody was unalived or, during this accident, just injuries. All of them just sustained injuries, and hopefully everybody will recover and make it home safe to their family, y'all. I get so tired of getting on here talking about these planes crashing. I just don't understand. Maybe my brain is not big enough to wrap it around what's happening, but it's just happening too much, and that right there just don't sit well in my stomach. I'm like, why? I understand that we will see, a few times a year a plane, a crash, or go off track, or something to happen, an engine, something. But the way this has been occurring in 2025, back to back, some just don't sit right with me when we say this at all. I'm sorry, y'all. Anywho, thank y'all for sipping a little more tea when I ain't tea. Bye, y'all.
She said, sitting in my stomach. Well, yeah, man, thankfully, so far what I'm hearing, like she said, people were injured. If there's been an update, I haven't heard it yet of people unalive, but man, like you just hate to continuously hear this happening, and it seems like that's all we've been plagued with since the year started. Is this the year of airplanes this year? You know what I mean? So yeah, something gotta happen. Something gotta change. So police are investigating arson. So listen, I ain't gonna lie to you. When you see something like that and you think about some of the tactics that some of the wealthy like to do, you start thinking of like arson, bro. You think of insurance claims and different things like that. You have to rule out the possibility. Not trying to say anybody did that here, but tell me that didn't pop up in some of y'all's mind. I know it popped up in the mind.
St. Petersburg police say a missing persons case turned into a kidnapping and homicide. Detectives collected evidence at a duplex on 27th Avenue North in St. Pete after police say a 16-year-old girl was beaten and killed inside.
Guns drawn, police threw them down on the ground. Handcuffed him, put him in a cruiser. Ever since then, cops here 24/7 for 3 days.
35-year-old Stephen Gress is facing numerous charges, including kidnapping and first-degree murder. Officers say he met 16-year-old Miranda Corsette through a social media app on February 14th. She was then reported missing 10 days later.
On the 20th, at the house, there was some type of dispute over some missing jewelry. So from the 20th to the 24th, she was beaten and tortured because they could not find this piece of jewelry.
Chief Anthony Holloway says Gress then put her body in a car, and with the help of his domestic partner, Michelle Brandis, they drove her body to a home on Mallory Drive in Largo. Police say the teen's body was dismembered and then dumped in a dumpster in Ruskin.
And her body is somewhere, possibly in a landfill somewhere in that county.
The police chief says they are still working to locate that teen's missing body. Reporting in St. Petersburg, Julie Salmon, ABC Action News. St. Petersburg police.
Jeez, man. And they really thought they was going to get away with that? Like, I keep saying, man. And what I be looking
Since
at.
case turned into.
What I be looking at. Who told it to unpause? What I be looking at is the house next door to it. And I'd be like, man, nobody knew this was going on. And I don't mean that to say that you should know what's going on. I'm just saying, you never know who you live next door to. Think about that. How many times you done, hey neighbor, shook hands with your neighbor, talked it out, talking about what's going on in the neighborhood. All the while, they over there doing something like this. I'm telling you, it make you look at your neighbors differently. I do.
This police body cam video shows the moment deputies crack a 7-year-old kidnapping cold case.
And next is what I like to describe as the aha moment, when the deputies realized that there was a warrant out for this woman's arrest.
Interesting. It's a 19 warrant, updated in 23. So there it is.
Yep, that's her. It started as a trespassing call about a man and woman illegally entering a vacant home for sale.
This call not only led to the apprehension of 2 suspects, but unknown to everyone at the time, to the discovery of a missing child and the resolution to a 7-year-old mystery.
That mystery, the 2017 kidnapping of Abdul Aziz Khan, who was 7 years old at the time. His mother accused of kidnapping him during a custody battle.
I left the courthouse and I didn't have my son.
The case grabbing national attention in a Netflix Unsolved Mysteries episode.
And then finally, we realized that she kidnapped him. That's what was happening. She kidnapped him and ran.
Last Sunday at the scene, deputies say Aziz's non-custodial mother, 40-year-old Rabia Khalid, and 42-year-old Elliot Bourgeois gave them fake IDs.
As the deputies began to investigate further, they began to uncover inconsistencies in the suspect's story. And their work led them to a shocking discovery that one of the suspects, Rabia Khalid, was actually a fugitive wanted for kidnapping, leading to the realization that 14-year-old Abdul Aziz Khan had been abducted back in 2017.
Both Khalid and her husband, Bourgeois, taken into custody.
Thanks to the deputies' keen instincts and the attention of both law enforcement and the public, Aziz is now safe.
In 2017, Khalid and Aziz's father were in the middle of a custody battle in Jefferson Parish, Louisiana. Aziz was last seen in Atlanta. He is now 14 and reunited with his father. Jacqueline Lay, ABC News, Los Angeles.
This police...
And I feel for that kid, man. Imagine that. And you not even knowing you're missing for all this time because you're with your mom. So this is a messed up situation to be in as a kid. You don't even be knowing unless the mom told you. And if she did, then she probably told you some trumped up story about your dad or something like that. You never really know, man. This kid could be messed up, bro. Straight up.
One male was armed with what appears to be an assault rifle. The other 2 males were armed with handguns. And they walked into the bar, they produced their guns, and they opened fire indiscriminately on the people sitting inside the restaurant, inside the bar. But tonight's shooting, these guys just looked at the crowd and opened fire. It was horrible. One male was armed with...
So now I can't even go to a bar and just enjoy myself, take a load off. Now you got people walking inside of bars. When the last time you heard somebody just walked into a bar and opened fire on people without an incident occurring in the bar and the person leaving and then coming back in. That's normally the situation. But just randomly, nah, they got to do some investigation on that, bro. A bar? Like, come on. That's one of the last places you think to hear something like that. Now, if I'm wrong and y'all have a lot of bar shootings, then it's something wrong. It's something different in y'all city, and y'all have to put me up on game, because where I'm from, nah. Now, after the bar shuts down and people are drunk and they outside and things escalate and spill over into the street and things start happening, then something might occur because alcohol is involved. Now everybody's emotions heighten, everything. So you can set somebody off or trigger somebody up pretty quick, but just randomly, I ain't used to that. Again, man, these are some of the unsung heroes that never get spoken about. People who do these type of things, man, and risk their lives for kids that not even are theirs, bro. Like, salute to all of those heroes inside of there, man. You know what I mean? What's that saying? Not all heroes wear capes. Yeah. Salute to all the nurses there, man. Thank you.
Where the hell are we right now? Because allegedly people are eating mermaids. So it's a video going around right now of this guy basically saying that he just came home from jail. He needed some money. So what did he do? He got with a fisherman crew. Now, when he got with this fisherman crew, he thought that this fisherman crew was just catching big game, exotic fish, rare fish that people never hear about. But he was soon to find out that they were allegedly catching mermaids. And I say allegedly because allegedly mermaids aren't real. This guy went on to say that they caught mermaids, allegedly, and sold them to the rich, allegedly. And these rich people that bought the mermaids used these mermaids for dinner, allegedly. So this same guy said that he earned their trust. He was around them for years upon years, until one day he received a letter in the mail. And in that letter, it said that he was invited to a party, a non-disclosed party, a celebrity party, an elite party. And this is freaking me out. In that same letter that he received, it said that he will be able to taste some type of food that only the elite taste. Something that was so expensive that most people can't eat it. So this man got invited to this party, had to sign an NDA, and when he gets to this party, these people allegedly are eating mermaids. I keep saying this, 2025 keeps showing us more and more. This is becoming the movie of all movies because, once again, allegedly mermaids are real. This ain't a fairy tale now. This is really happening in real time.
Now, I've done mad videos on mermaids, so if you're looking for me to tell you that they don't exist, you're in the wrong place, first and foremost. You know what I mean? And then stories like this, you used to be able to point to and be like, all right, man, that's fake. That's BS. I don't believe that. Not one bit. But then when you hear elites invited to parties and you think about the Diddy's, the alleged things that went down there, the Epstein's, the alleged things that went down there, you think about all these different things. You've heard about pizza parties, all this stuff that we've been exposed to now. How can you point to these and say that these don't happen or these don't exist? That was too many decades ago that we could say that. Nowadays, you a fool if you think some of these type of parties don't exist. Don't find yourself at one of them.
4.1 magnitude earthquake just hit Westlake Village a little over an hour ago, and within the last hour we've had at least 3 relatively smaller quakes in Malibu as well. And we just got word that Caltech's seismological laboratory will be holding a press conference a little later this afternoon in about 45 minutes from now to give an update on these recent quakes. Here's a look at the earthquake seismograph from the Westlake Village quake, which hit at 1:03 this afternoon. You see it there. All throughout Anaheim, felt at Long Beach, Los Angeles, San Bernardino as well. North Hollywood, Sherman Oaks, Laverne, Canoga Park, Montebello, Simi Valley. We're getting a lot of word from folks who felt the ground shake a little bit after 1 o'clock this afternoon, certainly in the San Fernando Valley, specifically where it was closest in Westlake Village. Why don't I show you a seismograph for the three aftershocks, the three Malibu quakes that happened shortly after that. You see it on the map there. Obviously, a little bit smaller, ranging in magnitude from a 2.5, but all the way up to a 3.0. Certainly an interesting afternoon. You may recall there was another earthquake last Sunday as well, a little bit later in the evening. And if you didn't feel that one, maybe you felt this one. A 4.1 magnitude earthquake.
Listen, I got a question for everyone who lives in California. One of those areas that they had on the screen, or any area that receives earthquakes. And this is nothing new to you. It's 4.1 even something to even worry about? If you leave it to me, I'm worried about any one of them. Anytime the ground moves unexpectedly, like just something that's just not normal, it's a problem for me. So I have to ask people who are a little more experienced with these earthquakes that happen a lot. Is 4.1 something y'all worried about, or y'all just go on about y'all day? Or is 4.1 saying, hey, these are happening a lot. We may be about to get a big one, because we don't know on this side. We're not used to that. So we have to get y'all's opinion on this.
What Elon Musk has been doing with his Doge team is, to my mind, an obviously illegal assault on the federal government. It's totally in violation of the Constitution and the law. It's also wildly destructive to people, just hacking away and making mistakes left and right and center. And it's gotten so bad that even MAGA Republicans who support slashing the government in principle are starting to get real anxious. New York Times describes what happened behind closed doors yesterday, when simmering anger at the billionaire's unchecked power spilled out in a remarkable cabinet room meeting. The president quickly moved to rein in Mr. Musk. In one exchange described at the Times, Transportation Secretary, former Real World cast member Sean Duffy, squared off with Musk. Mr. Duffy said the young staff of Mr. Musk's team was trying to lay off air traffic controllers. What am I supposed to do? Mr. Duffy said. I have multiple plane crashes to deal with now, and your people want me to fire air traffic controllers? Mr. Musk told Mr. Duffy that his assertion was a lie. Mr. Duffy insisted it was not. He had heard it from them directly. At another point, Mr. Musk insisted that people hired under diversity, equity, and inclusion programs were working in control towers. Mr. Duffy pushed back, and Mr. Musk did not add details, but said during the longer back and forth that Mr. Duffy had his phone number and should call him if he had any issues to raise. The exchange ended with Mr. Trump telling Mr. Duffy that he had to hire people from MIT as air traffic controllers. These air traffic controllers need to be geniuses, he said. Oh, there's so much there. What Elon Musk has been doing with his Doge.
Dang, if you don't come from MIT, you can't be a genius? I don't know, man. I consider myself to be pretty smart. I ain't never dubbed myself no genius, but I didn't go to no MIT. And I know a lot of people who are very, very intelligent that didn't attend the MIT. You know what I mean? That can go to a different school, obtain information, learn, and become great at their profession, at their in their field. That can become the best. So I don't know about that statement there.
Y'all, things can't get any worse for President Musk. Not only did Donald Trump curb his power in the White House by telling people that he does not have the power to cut jobs, but the people of Congress do. His Tesla stock is plummeting right now. He's already lost over $150 billion in value as European markets close off his sales in their markets. And not only that, he just launched a spaceship. The spaceship that he's depending on going to Mars too one day just exploded in Florida and interrupted all types of supply chains in the air and all types of stuff. So your boy is not doing good right now. He's not looking good. He's losing court battles. And all of those federal workers that he fired unjustly and unconstitutionally may have a shot at coming back and getting their jobs back. And those actual departments that he shut down may be restored. We're going to keep watching this story develop in the courts and everything. Y'all stay tuned, and I'm going to keep you with the updates.
Would you even want your job back at this point? Just to go back and then walk around on eggshells thinking your job is still in jeopardy to possibly have some more changes come down? Do you even want it at this point? That would be my question to you.
All right, President Trump will reportedly meet with tech CEOs at the White House today to discuss the tariffs as Canada gets ready to elect a new leader.
Yeah, it looks like they got one. Mark Meredith is at the White House. Mark.
Brian, Ainsley, and Lawrence, good morning, friends. The White House is facing growing questions from economists, business owners, even voters about the impact of tariffs on the economy here and abroad. Today, trade expected to be top of mind as the president sits down with multiple tech CEOs. Among those expected to be here today, the heads of IBM, Qualcomm, HP, and Intel. Overnight, China officially imposed tariffs on many foreign products coming from the United States, the latest sign of a trade war growing larger by the day. The president still insists his decision to impose tariffs on China, Canada, and Mexico will pay off.
I think the tariffs are going to be the greatest thing we've ever done as a country. It's going to make our country rich again. We have many companies, as you know, auto companies are opening up plants now. We've had 4 or 5 announced already, but many more are coming. And we're basically going to take back the money, a lot of the money that we've given away over many decades. We've lost our jobs, we've lost our factories.
Meantime, Canada has a new leader. Liberal Party members choosing Mark Carney as new prime minister. He's vowed to stand up to Trump over past comments that Canada should join the United States as the 51st state.
America is not Canada. And Canada never, ever will be part of America in any way, shape, or form. So the Americans, they should make no mistake, in trade as in hockey, Canada will win.
Certainly a lot of attention to our neighbors in the north. We'll be looking to see how President Trump may respond a little.
Now, normally you would be like, well, don't sound like he's folding at any point. But as we've seen before, we can't say that. Because one minute they'll be like, oh, we ain't playing with the U.S., this, that, and the third. Then the next thing you'll hear is, oh, we made a phone call, we spoke, we had a great phone call with me and Trump. You know what I mean? So you never know how these things are going to swing. It's like day to day. That's why we have to check back every single day. Now, granted, they got a new prime minister. We have to see. We have to see how this plays out. He could be different from Trudeau.
A little bit later on today, it is a big change for Canada as Justin Trudeau had served as prime minister, guys, going back for 9 years. So a big change up north. Brian, Ainsley, and Lawrence?
So Mark, this guy finishes out Trudeau's term. Then they have an election, right? Is that the way the parliamentary system works?
Well, and the Liberal Party is certainly feeling emboldened. Obviously, they decided to move past Trudeau, but they're feeling a little bit more emboldened after some of the back and forth with the United States. But whether or not Carney's speech, like we just saw from Ottawa, would really kind of rally his base there, or would it be something where it just kind of continues this back and forth with potential tariffs and trade that could create more problems for Canadians and Americans is what we have to watch.
All right.
All right. Thank you so much. He said that Canada will never be a part of America in any way, shape, or form, because we've heard President Trump say it should be the 51st state. He used to call Trudeau Governor Trudeau. But this guy, the liberal guy, he received 86% of the votes.
Well, there's a lot of tough talk going on. But when it comes to the trading partnership, they really cannot survive without the United States. So the rhetoric is fine, I guess, if you want to rally your people, but then you're going to have to tell them, help the people, or at least explain to the people on how they're going to overcome when they get hit with this massive tariff.
So the one thing is the tariffs are rocking the market. There's no question about it.
So that was my question, because like I did a video before on how expensive it was to live in Canada and different things that they were reporting and the issues that people were having with the prices and how they were able to not be home, like different things going on. So how is this going to help them is the question now.
Donald Trump, when he first took over, the stock market rallied in 2016, up 5.7% by this point. But because of the tariffs going back and forth and the and the lack of predictability, now it looks like they're on the negative growth side. Since inauguration, the market's only up 1.6% after the initial rally. So Obama was down 20%, but that was after the collapse of 28. So getting some stability, whatever the president's going to do with tariffs, I think the up and down, the threading, the pushing back of the barriers, the market hates it. And I just think that if we just pick a lane, whatever it is, we could deal with it, because his overall approach, I think Americans get behind. We don't manufacture things. How do we bring it back? Make it economically profitable to come back here. Make these companies build here, zero tariffs. Then if you're going to bring your company here, down to 15% corporate tax instead of paying up in the 20s. So make people want to build things here, like condo, like that.
But if you see, like, China's already showing people how to get around the tariff. So how are you going to want somebody to come here and do it the right way when you got some outsider showing you how to get around it? This is the issue that needs to be handled right now.
Tech company from Taiwan, the chip company from Taiwan. That's the overall goal. And you know who appreciates it? One of Donald Trump's biggest critics. He spoke at the DNC and how bad Donald Trump was. But he is somebody who is pro-tariff because he sees the objective. Listen to what he said on ABC's Sunday show.
It's simple for us. Look, we're in a crisis mode in this country. You know, there is no single issue in this country that has affected our economy and working class people and their jobs than NAFTA, the USMCA, and our trade laws, our broken trade system. And we're in a crisis mode. And, you know, we are triaging right now. So I hear this debate about, you know, blanket tariffs and all this stuff. But look, we're in a triage situation. Tariffs are an attempt to stop the bleeding from the hemorrhaging of jobs in America for the last 33 years.
Of course, it's pro-worker policy that the president is doing when it comes to the tariffs. Look, I know the market is going crazy right now because of the uncertainty.
The market is bleeding. Say that. Say that. Make sure you say the market is bleeding. Like, they need a tourniquet. They need something to stop the bleeding right now. But it is bleeding. I mean, whew.
But I think you got to let it roll with it for a second. And the reason why I say you roll with it for a second is because we know what happened in the first administration that he had. You had, when he passed the tariffs, when it came to inflation, was virtually at zero. So I say give the president some latitude here. I think the second thing, Ainsley, is they haven't passed the tax cuts yet. I think if the American people had the tax cut with the tariff policy, there would be less frantic.
Yeah, I think the president has said there's going to be a transition period, and it's going to be in the very beginning. He said, I like to get things done in the very beginning, probably because he anticipates that it's going to take some time to bring business back to America. And he's waiting on, you know, a few years into his administration to see the economy grow again. And so he's just basically saying, give me some time to bring wealth back to America. I know that they want to apply, he's working with Elon to apply the business model, business management to our federal government, so that these companies will be, the government will be subservient to these companies instead of the other way around. And so there's a method to their madness. And he's just saying, be patient with me. So I agree with you. I think.
Give them some room.
I think there's two things. Don't forget, the reason why the tariffs went on Mexico and Canada is fentanyl.
Yes.
And that's, this is about drugs.
It's about saving lives.
Mexico made some big improvements. Mexico made some huge improvements. We've seen it. They also are playing a role in the lack of traffic at our southern border. And then you see some gains over with Canada, too. And then we get to the whole reciprocal tariff thing. And the goal is, OK, so you're at 20% and you're at 25%. I'm going to tariff you the same way. You know what he hopes?
Yep.
You go to 15 and you go to 20. So he hopes you drop them because I'm going to do whatever you do. So this way you're dropping the tariffs and we all win.
It's surprising that it wasn't already done. These are supposed to be our partners, but they're not doing it.
Have we seen? We need to see the numbers too. You know, we just hearing that's what it's for, and that's what it could be. Seriously, it could be that, and they could be doing a very good job. But we need to see some numbers, some real factual numbers as far as has it gone down, what it was before, what it is now, all of that type of stuff to verify, you know what I mean, if things are actually changing. But I don't know. Y'all let me know what you think. I'm out.